Hi everyone, so the video you're about to watch is just a short segment taken out of a live stream I did the other day responding to the Queer Kiwi. She recently made a video about that vegan teacher and I had a lot of disagreements with that video she made, but today I just wanted to focus on one single part of that video which covered the topic of vegan phobia. But I'm still considering making, a dedicated video responding to her whole entire video. But before I do that, I want to actually debate her, or at least try to set up a debate with the Queer Kiwi. I've tried to message her and tweet at her on Twitter. I still haven't been able to get a hold of her, so hopefully she sees this and responds. But I think a debate would be a lot more productive because I have a lot of questions, a lot of her views are either vague or they just bring up like weird questions that I kind of need answers to appropriately respond to. And I think that would just be a lot more productive debate and direct conversation rather than just making a response video. So if the Queer Kiwi sees this, please message me back on Twitter and we'll try to set up a debate. If you're not interested in a debate, then I'll just make an entire video debunking all of your positions on that vegan teacher and other related subtopics involving, vegan activism and whatever. But for now, enjoy this short clip that I took out of the live stream I did the other day talking about vegan phobia.
This is going to be a long video. I have so much to say.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, God.
Stop being racist, stop being sexist, stop being homophobic, stop being ageist, stop being ableist, stop being vegan phobic. If you don't like number 6 on this list, sorry, but you have to admit, when it comes right down to it, you're a hypocrite.
Vegans, we aren't oppressed. We choose to be vegan. And if anything, that is a very privileged decision.
Oh, wow. Okay, so she's going with this. I already made a video about this when I talked about Obese to Beast. I don't see how just because something is a choice that necessarily means you're not oppressed. Look, if your race was a choice, like let's say we had the technology where you could change your race, or you could change your gender or sex or sexuality, would that make racism any less bad? No. And in some ways, having a choice makes discrimination against these choices even worse because, yeah, it's like racism is bad in a sense. Like it's worse to discriminate against somebody based on their race because, yeah, they can't change their race. They have no way of getting away from that discrimination. But at the same time, if you are making a decision to, I don't know, be a part of a certain religion, be vegan, or any other choice you could make that would cause discrimination, people are actively trying to take away your agency and ability to make a choice. So that's uniquely worse than compared to racism because now you're being judged for your choices. You're actually having people attack you for the choices you're making and attempting to take away your agency. I don't understand how just because something's a choice, that makes it less bad. Like, again, I would love to ask her this in person, have her respond. If you could choose your race, your gender, your sex, your sexuality, would that make racism, sexism, homophobia any less bad? In my opinion, it sure as fuck wouldn't. Like, it's stupid. And it's also very disingenuous to call this a choice because this isn't just a personal choice. There's victims involved. So she's saying, oh yeah, you're choosing not to, torture and murder. You could easily choose to just, torture and murder. Like, what? Veganism isn't just a personal choice when there's victims involved. This is stupid. She's basically saying, oh yeah, if you have a problem being discriminated against if you're vegan, we'll just go back to torturing and murdering animals. This is ridiculous.
A lot of people do not have the capacity to make this decision. And I used to be in a position like you where I thought that there was just...
Unless you are... sorry. Unless you're a child living at home where you're financially dependent on your parents and they basically choose your food choices, you can be vegan. Sweet Anita was talking about this on Destiny's stream. She was vegetarian her whole life and she went vegan 16 years ago. And when she was a broke-ass college student, she only had $20 to spend every 2 weeks on food. She was vegan. She could do it just fine. If you're poor as fuck, veganism is probably cheaper for you. So I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. There are very, 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 very few circumstances where you can't be vegan. Like, really, realistically, the only circumstance you could be in where you can't be vegan is if you're like a child and you're still living with your parents and they force you to eat meat, or if you're stuck on a desert island. That's really it.
A bunch of excuses, because being vegan is cheaper, because being vegan is accessible, because there is always supplements and there's always ways to find the right nutrients. And I took the time, as I say, to educate myself, and I realized that that isn't always true. If you think about the price, right, as you say, like, being vegan is cheaper. I see a lot of people saying that, and like I said, I used to say that a lot as well. What about people who need food stamps? What about people who are given food from, like...
Yeah, they can still be vegan. I don't know what the f you're talking about. Does she know what food stamps are? Like, what does she mean?
Because some people...
She literally brought up marginal cases, like obscure marginal cases. Oh, what if you're homeless and you have no money and the only food you have access to is like donated? Is this representative of like the average person who refuses to go vegan? You're a joke.
Can make more vegan choices without being fully vegan, and that is okay, and that is enough. Back to the point.
Oh, that's okay and that's enough. So it's okay to rape, torture, and murder. All right. So you're not vegan. If you're telling me it's enough to just, you know, torture and murder sometimes, then no, you're not vegan.
You cannot compare vegan phobia and the hatred of vegans with things like homophobia, sexism, and racism. They are not anywhere near the same level.
Yep, they are. So let me bring up the study. So, what's her name? The Queer Kiwi. She's totally wrong. So it ain't easy eating greens, evidence of bias towards vegetarians and vegans from both source and target. So they conducted multiple studies here. In study 1, they were looking at whether or not vegans were evaluated worse than other targeted groups. So vegetarians and vegans as target of bias, as predicted, attitudes towards vegetarians and vegans were equivalent to or more negative than evaluations of common prejudice target groups, as displayed in Table 1. Both vegetarians and vegans were evaluated equivalently to immigrants, asexuals, atheists, and significantly more negatively than blacks. Vegetarians were evaluated equivalently to homosexuals, where vegans were evaluated more negatively than homosexuals. So funny, vegans are evaluated worse than blacks, worse than homosexuals, and she's claiming that, oh, you can't compare discrimination against vegans versus, you know, other targeted groups. Yes, you can. Here is evidence of that. Only drug addicts were evaluated more negatively than vegetarians and vegans. So that is how negatively society sees vegans. So you're full of shit. And if you scroll down, so I believe this was in study 3, they actually looked at types of discrimination that occur, like, you know, towards vegans. So 24.5% of vegans had decreased contact from friends after they, you know, came out as being vegan. So let's see, 7.3% of vegans had friends completely cease contact after they went vegan. So basically your friends are disowning you after you become vegan. I'm sure a lot of gay people have that experience where once they come out as gay to their friends, oh, we're not going to talk to you anymore. Yeah, you're gay and weird. We don't want to talk to you. Vegans suffer that too. Same thing with family members. So almost 10% of vegans had family members decrease contact. And vegans actually had 3% of family members completely cease contact after they revealed to their family that they were vegan. I actually knew a guy on Facebook whose dad kicked him out of the house for being vegan. Literally just booted him out onto the street for being vegan. Again, I'm sure a lot of gay people have experienced that sort of thing before, where family members disown you. That happens to vegans too. There's a lot of other statistics here. So they talk about anxiety. So like there's fear and anxiety about being vegan. Vegans experience that pretty frequently, 33%. Let's see. Reporting or experienced at least some everyday discrimination. 66%. So that would like be people making fun of you, people treating you poorly for being vegan. Over half of vegans experience that on a daily basis. Reported in engaging in at least some activity to prepare for potential discrimination experiences. So again, over half. Reported engaging in at least some discrimination coping mechanism, 77%. And this is the really fucked up part. Reported having unfairly denied a job or promotion due to vegetarian or veganism, 2.6% of vegans. Reported having not been hired for a job due to vegetarianism, veganism, 9% of vegans. So vegans are actually denied job opportunities because of them being vegan. Now, they had a limited sample here. So, reported having been prevented moving into a home due to vegetarianism, veganism, 0%. Now, I've actually known a few people who have actually been denied apartments and have been denied Airbnbs because the renter found out that they were vegan. They checked their social media. There was a guy on my Patreon who actually messaged me about that. So if they had a larger sample size, you'd probably see some vegans being denied apartments and shit. So no, actually, you're completely wrong, and there's empirical research proving you're wrong. Vegans are discriminated against in similar ways to other targeted groups. And I mean, this is also going to be very individual. Like, I'm sure you can find some gay people who are like shot at and murdered for being gay, whereas that's going to be a lot less common with vegans. But I mean, like, again, that vegan teacher that we're talking about right now, she's part of the LGBTQ community. She's bisexual. She is being discriminated against far more harshly for being vegan than for being bisexual. Me, I've been discriminated against far more harshly for being vegan than from being black. You'll find a lot of minorities who have that experience. So again, this is going to be individual as well. So no, there's actual empirical research proving you wrong, and I can find anecdotal examples, again, disagreeing with you.
We are not oppressed as vegans. We hold the same position in society as we would if we weren't vegan. Being vegan doesn't affect my job opportunities. It doesn't affect...
Doesn't affect your job opportunities. 9% in this survey had been denied a job because of being vegan. 9%. That's almost 1 in 10. So you're wrong. And again, it's funny. She's talking about herself, her own personal experience. So no shit, you can find anecdotal examples where people are discriminated against far more for their sexuality than from being vegan. But again, you can find anecdotal examples of the opposite. But if we actually look at empirical research, which I think is a bit more valuable, you're wrong. This is just ridiculous.
My housing situation, it doesn't affect my source of income or how much I make. It doesn't affect my place in society.
Typical, like, this is just so typical. Privileged, white person type of speak. Doesn't happen to me, so, it's not, a problem for anyone else. It's the hypocrisy is just mind-blowing. She's literally claiming because it doesn't personally affect me, then no one else has this issue.
Or within the societal hierarchy. Being a woman does. Being queer does. Being a person of color does. So by comparing actual oppression to people online are bullying me because I'm vegan, it's not the same thing.
Wow. Yeah, this is just so incredibly ignorant. Because it doesn't happen to me, that means, it doesn't happen to anyone else. This is like if I were to say, okay, well, I've never been a victim of racism, so yeah, racism doesn't exist. Or I've never been a victim of homophobia, so yeah, homophobia doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Like, you're just a crybaby online, snowflake. Holy shit.
Nowhere near equatable. And by saying that, your privilege is showing, Katie.
Yeah, I don't think she realizes I've actually been harassed by the police, and they've broken down my door, and they put false charges against me because they didn't like me being vegan and doing online activism. So I guess that's. Am I making this up because that's never personally happened to you?
Saying vegan phobia is a thing is sort of like saying reverse racism is a thing, and heterophobia.
Wow. Yeah, again, it didn't happen to me, so it doesn't exist. Ignorant, privileged white girl speak.
Is a thing. It's not real oppression, it's just your feelings getting hurt.
Oh, cool. Okay, it's just your feelings getting hurt. So, right, when that vegan teacher gets doxxed, people harass her, try to break into her house, steal her dog, dox her, throw shit at her house. Yeah, all that shit. Or getting harassed and bullied at work. All that shit. Oh, it's just your feelings getting hurt. Big deal. Okay, so when people call you fag constantly at work or won't talk to you and shit like that, or dox you for your set, oh, that's just your feelings getting hurt, right? Or yeah, when racist assholes like call you the N-word all the time, or cops harass you, oh, that's just your feelings getting hurt, right? Like, wow, talk about being a gatekeeper for oppression. Okay. This is a joke.
And there is a difference. Yeah, it sucks being bullied. It's shit to have your feelings hurt and to be told that you're wrong. And
oh, yeah, okay, so let's see. Vegan child bullied to death. Right. So bullying, yeah, when a 12-year-old boy hangs himself for being bullied for being vegan, I believe he had, oh, God damn it, I hate the stupid. So I think kids threw meat at him and he was bullied like every day constantly. He hung himself. A 12-year-old boy hung himself. Oh, your feelings got hurt? Oh, is that all that happened? Well, veganism's a choice. So, you could have just chosen to eat meat. Oh, a little baby hung himself. That's not real oppression. Getting bullied to the point where you commit suicide? Yeah, that's just your feelings getting hurt. I have no respect for this girl. Holy crap. Talk about a f***ing privileged...
C-word.
What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.